So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a block using MCreator. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to create a new workspace on this. So once this is finished loading, I can now create a new workspace. As you can, I've created some over here already, but I'm going to create a new one. So I'm not going to open the workspace. I'm going to add a new workspace. I'm going to call it what should I call? I'm going to call it Minecraft mod. That's what I'm going to call it. It's Minecraft mod. And now I'm going to create the new workspace. You can shut this down. You don't need this on the side. So we just have to wait for this to load. It will take quite a bit of time though. So once this disappears, you can now press workspace and it says press add to make your first mod element. So we're going to press it. So it says add a new mod element, and we're going to be creating a block. You press B, or you just press block. I'm going to be creating a Ruby. So I'm going to call it Ruby, and I'm going to create a new block. If you do left, it will fill up all of them. If you do, you can do all of them individually, or if you do the bottom, that will do the bottom and the top as well. But I'm going to make it all the same on each side. So I'm going to create a texture from scratch because I don't have any at the moment. I'm going to get some grey for the rock and some red. And you can see your recents there. So I'm going to go straight with the grey. I'm going to fill it up with grey. So now I think you might have completed it now. Or once you've completed it, you press save this texture, and then we're going to press block, and I'm going to call it Ruby. So we're going to go back to our Ruby file up here, and I'm going to click that. Our one was already there. We're not going to create a new texture, and we're going to press select, and it fills all of the sides. So we can press next page, and it's going to be called a Ruby in the game, and its material is like a rock. And it's going to be a building block. Its step sound, I'm going to do it like stone. And its hardness is going to be 3. Its lumens is 0. So it doesn't make any light. And it doesn't have gravity. And you can make a custom drop, but I'm not going to make it do a custom drop yet because we haven't got anything for it to drop. and it's going to be broken by a pickaxe. And its tool harvest level is going to be 3, and it isn't unbreakable, and it's replaceable. So I'm going to keep the tick rate on 10, tick 1, and I'm going to tick randomly no. I'm going to look for stone here. Here, the block on the map, so it's going to be stone, and plants can grow on this block. So, once you finished, you can press the next page. But I'm going to make the block not slippery at all. Actually, no, I'm going to make it really slippery. And now I'm going to go on to the next page. I'm going to have the max size of the stack 64. And I'm going to go to the next page. This is if you wanted to add code here, but we're not going to be doing it today. So we're going to go on to the next page. So the blocks in my place is stone at the moment, but I don't want it to be stone, so I'm going to search for diamond, or it won't replace the blocks. All it's doing is making it as rare as the block. So I'm going to click on stone and press delete. And now it's just as rare as diamond ore, but I'm going to make it as rare as another ore, which is going to be gold. So it's rare as diamond and gold, and the max generation height is going to be 28. So I finished with this page, and now we can close the ruby. So now we've got it saved here. So now we have to test our block out to make sure it works. It will take a bit to load up. And I'm going to put it onto full screen. So once it's finished loading, you will see that none of your worlds on Java Edition will be in this, because this is only a test world. So I'm going to try on a single player, and I have no idea why it says also try Pixel Jinx Shooter. So let's press play, and we're going to create a new world, and I'm going to call it testing in the Ruby block. So now I'm going to go to Game Mode Creative, and I'm going to create a new world. Come on, 100%. So now we've joined the world. So we can see we're in a forest. So I'm going to go here and search ruby, and you can see we've got the new block. You can see that it's in building blocks too. So we're going to go down and place the block. At the moment it looks exactly like it should be. You can break it. If you wanted to look for it you could. So start mine like I was just doing there. But my thing is as rare as gold and diamond, so I don't think I'm going to be looking for it in this video. But this block has no purpose, so if you continue watching the video, you will be able to see that we can create an item for it. So I'm going to save and quit the world. And I'm going to go onto MCreator again. And I'm going to add a new item called the ruby item. You have to press. It's not going to be. It's going to be your item. So I'm going to call this the ruby item. It won't let me do ruby because that's already a name, and I can't do a space here. So I'm going to do a capital so it looks more like a ruby item. And now I'm going to create a new item. I'm going to create a new texture here. I'm going to make the ruby look like it's still partly in the rock, but I'm not going to fill up this whole entire page because that would just look like you're still holding onto the block. So I'm going to start in the middle, just making sure that it's definitely symmetrical. And I'm going to do the same above here. I'm going to do 3 like that. And I'm going to go and put those blocks there. At the moment it looks like a big smiley face, so I'm going to change that. And I'm going to jump the sides. At the moment it does look a bit like an emerald. So I'm going to start adding some of the red. It doesn't matter if it comes over the side because I'm going to make it, because I said I was going to make it like it's still partly in the rock. So I'm going to fill up this. So I'm going to go back to grey, and I'm going to just put it here so it looks like it just goes off onto an angle there. And I'm going to make it look like some of the rock is on the ruby. And I'm going to look at my recent ones there, and I'm going to add the brownie like red colour here. And I'm going to change to the lighter grey. Okay, so I'm going to save the texture. It just look a bit like a mushroom spawn egg. So I'm going to call this the ruby item, but it says we can do it without spaces. So I'm going to go to the item texture again, and then going to select it. So now I'm going to give it a glowing effect. Now I'm going to the next page, and it's going to be called the ruby item in the game. And the max stack size is going to be 64. And the type of tool, at the moment it's not a tool, so I'm going to, because it's not a tool, I'm going to keep it on 1. And item damage actually does 3, and it can't destroy any block. And the item does not stay in the crafting grid when crafted, but we're not going to craft it. So we can shut down this. Yes, and we can't actually get the block we can't actually get the ruby item at the moment, and it doesn't connect to the ruby at all. So we're going to create a new recipe. So no, it's not C, that goes to command R for a recipe. So we're going to create a new recipe. It won't show up in game, so you can literally call it anything. So I'm just going to call it rubycraft thing. Oh no, I actually spelled crafting wrong for some reason. So I'm going to change it to smelting. So I'm going to put in the ruby block. And we don't have to put any of the fuel in, otherwise that means you need a specific block to put in there. So it's going to give us not 7. 5 rubies. So now we've got the ruby crafting. I spelled it wrong. So we're going to go back to that world. The world be saved in this workspace. So anytime you close it and open it, the workspace will still, the worlds from in this workspace will still be there. If putting a ruby in a furnace turns it into a ruby, and just a ruby item will work or not. And why did it say not on Steam? So we're going to go to the testing the ruby block. It's already here, so we're going to press on it and play this world here. And we have to wait for this again, but this is why I feel like it goes a bit quicker, because it just jumped to 83. And now it's on 100, a bit quicker than last time, but still a bit long. So we're back in the same position where we were, and we've still got the same block. The shading looks very bad because it hasn't updated for the testing worlds on this. So the ruby item is part of the miscellaneous group, so it has the glowing effect, which looks really cool. It looks like it's enchanted, but it's not. So you can see that it's definitely it looks like it's enchanted when you drop it. And if I get a furnace, So I get 6 pieces of wood. I'm going to put it down, put in the wood and the ruby. So now we've got the same thing in the ruby item. So I'm just gonna break this and get my wooden planks again. And they look, and both of these items look exactly the same. So if we were to drop them down here, they look. You can see they look exactly the same. But at the moment, the ruby rod does something, but the ruby item has no purpose. So this actually does nothing. So I'm going to be showing you in my next MCreator video of how to create a sword using our ruby items. Or we could create a pickaxe or a shovel or any of the other items. So bye!